Well, you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with what I need to know? And I'm going to tell you already that on your unit exam for chemistry, you actually are going to you're going to play around and go ahead and balance an equation that doesn't have the right stoichiometric coefficients. And so we're going to talk you through that. My first advice usually to students is to use a pencil, because you might find yourself putting a stoichiometric coefficient and then having to erase it. Okay? Now, that's not what this first one says. This one actually says that thou shalt not make up chemistry. So, for instance, if we had H2O, we know that H2O, you can use electricity and you can break it down into H2 and O2, okay? If we had that, okay, this is our reactant and we have two products that are formed. You might say, well, I can balance that if I simply, for instance, if I only have one oxygen here, so I can get one oxygen here by changing that to a 1. You cannot do that. No, 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 no. I'm going to undo that. Okay, that actually is what I say playing chemistry. You are changing what is, in that case, the product that was formed. Let's go ahead and I'll kind of talk you through this example. I usually put a squiggly mark over here where my coefficient can go. So here's a squiggly mark here and a squiggly mark there. And then I make a brick wall and I count hydrogens and oxygens. And initially with a coefficient of 1 here in front of the H2O, it looks like I have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Over on the product side, with coefficients of 1 in front of each of those products, looks like I have 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. Okay, so my hydrogens are set, but looks like my oxygens need some attention. So I recognize that I have 2 on the product side, and I can get 2 on the reactant if I put 2 in front of the H2O. So now 2 in front of the H2O, now we need to up our hydrogens now too, don't we? So 2 H2s, now that changed that to a 4. 2 O's, that changed that to a 2, which was actually what I was after. Okay, so now my oxygens work, but my hydrogens don't. Sigh. This is the back and forth that we oftentimes do, balancing by inspection. So now for my hydrogens, I've got 4 here, and I've only got 2 here. So I can get 4 over here on the product side if I put a 2 here. Now I can adjust that to a 4, and voila! You have balanced it. Okay, so coefficients of 2, 2, and 1 actually will balance that. So do not change the subscripts. So like you saw me do a minute ago, what you can do is monkey with the big number to the left of the reactant or product. That's called the stoichiometric coefficient. And you might need to change that a few times. The other thing is, remember when you put that stoichiometric coefficient there, it applies to the whole compound, whole enchilada. Okay, so let's do one. Kind of like we did water decomposing to form hydrogen and oxygen, we're going to do this one. So like I said, I like to put my brick wall, I put a little tally here, Fe equals, H equals, O equals, Fe equals, and then I come up with what they are before I change the coefficients from 1. So if my coefficients are all 1 on the reactant side, I have 1 Fe, I have 2 H's, and I have 1 oxygen. On the product side, I have a whopping 3 Fe's. I have to fix that, aren't we? Looks like 2 H's and 4 oxygens. So one of the hints, and I think it's coming up, is I forgot to put my little squiggly marks. Let's do it in blue this time. Squiggly mark here. So where my squiggly marks are where my stoichiometric coefficients can go. That's the only number I can change. So what did I start to say? If you have something, the low-hanging fruit, okay, we're going to kind of keep that guy till last. And it's what we call uncombined elemental form. So let's see. Well, with that said, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and fix my FEs first. So Fe stands for what? The element iron. So notice I have 3 over here and only 1 here, and I can fix that if I put a 3 in front of my Fe. What color do I want? I'll stick with green. Okay, so now the only thing I need to update are my FEs. So I have 3 now. Ooh-doo-doo, that's looking pretty good. Hydrogens. Well, right now they're balanced. Let's fix the oxygens. I probably should have fixed that first, but let's go ahead and fix it now. So it looks like oxygen-wise, I have 4 over here and only 1 here. Dang it. So I need to get 4 here, and I can get 4 oxygens if I put a coefficient of 4 in front of the H2O. So I need to update my hydrogens. So I have 4 times 2, or a whopping, wow, 8 hydrogens. And then I need to update my oxygens. So I have 4 there. So now my oxygens are great, and I didn't mess up my irons, which is wonderful. The last thing I need to fix are my hydrogens. So it looks like I have 8 over here, and I think we're going to be in good shape. I need to get 8. Need to get 8 on the product side. So do you guys buy this? If I put a 4 right there, then I have 8. And we are done. Oops, I must have put the check. No, we are done. Okay, so the overall balanced chemical equation is this, with, we'd say, coefficients of 3 and 4 and 1 and 4. We have the same number of atoms of each type of element on both sides of the reaction arrow.